A lotus is a flower rooted in the mud that rises through and above to become a beautiful bloom. This is a podcast sharing mine and other stories of how we've done the same, choosing to rise above our circumstances to bloom. I'm your host, Amber. Let's get started. So this is Jeremy, my new friend. We haven't known each other that long. We, was it in September?
Yeah, it was September.
Yeah. So we both did Transcendence with Christy, who I have an episode actually with her, which was really, really cool. We couldn't stop talking, and then we realized how much time had passed, and we were like, oh, maybe we should wrap this up. And so, yeah, you just popped in and had breakfast, and I loved the way that you worded things and just your vibes and energy. I was like, I gotta have this guy on my podcast. That's really cool.
Of course.
But the one thing that I really love that you said is someone asked, so what do you do? And I love the way that you put it. Do you mind just saying?
Totally. I do people magic.
I love it.
Yeah. And what that actually means is I help people find the magic that's already in themselves.
Oh, that gives me chills. That's so beautiful, because I think that actually a lot of people and maybe I'm just hyper aware of it because the people that I'm surrounded by, but I do feel like a lot more people are trying to find that magic. There's a woman on Instagram. Her name's Lindsay, and I can't pronounce her last name. It's like Gurky or something, but she has this, what is it? She's really big on helping other moms find themselves again. And she does it in kind of a goofy way of letting yourself be a serious mom and a goofy mom and an intentional mom. But she has this clothing line that's called Get Your Pink Back.
Nice.
And I don't know if you've heard flamingos, when they become parents, they lose their color because they're putting so much of their energy into taking care of their children. And eventually they get their pink back, and it's like they're becoming themselves again.
Yeah.
And so when you said that of helping people find their magic, that's what it reminded me of, is get your pink back.
Yeah. And right before we started, we were just talking about your son.
Yeah.
And how imaginative he is and how fearless he is.
Yes.
And this totally plays into what I believe is, you look at your son, it's 6 years old, and big imagination. Everything's possible because he hasn't been told he has to fit in yet. He hasn't been told that the world has to look a certain way yet. He hasn't been told what it looks like. And so he still has all his vibrancy, all his imagination, all his originality, all his uniqueness.
And you mentioned authentic self too.
Yeah. And what we end up doing is we end up burying that under coping mechanisms, over fitting in, over being told, hey, you need to show up this way to be acceptable in school or with your friends or with your relationship or with your family. And it's still there. It's just buried under all this stuff.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it's not about finding yourself. It's about uncovering all the not self that's already there.
And a remembering. I love that idea of a remembering, because it's and I've mentioned this before on this podcast, but for a really long time, when I started my healing journey, it was about reclaiming my power and taking my power back. And then I heard someone say that you never lost it. You always had it. It's just remembering what it feels like and what it looks like.
Yeah.
And I think that idea of, it's almost like the Wizard of Oz, where she's like, you've had it the whole time and you just had to know and acknowledge, understand that you had it. But I feel like that idea of that you have it the whole time, it was never lost. You were never looking for it. You just had to remember and uncover it, is so almost reassuring. Oh, okay. I am a lot more capable than I thought I was.
And in The Wizard of Oz, she thought it was the slippers. And she thought it was the wizard. And so she was looking outside of herself for the magic. And the magic was always her. And the magic was always her journey. And it was the friends she made with the lion and the scarecrow and the tin man. And all the experiences she had along the way actually made her into the magic.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is kind of funny that we're talking about this because The Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie since I was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up writing one of my final papers on my theory of The Wizard of Oz.
Cool.
And it was just basically, oh man, I'd have to remember. This was like a very long time ago, but it was basically how the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the who was the other one? Oh, the Cowardly Lion. Yeah. How they were actually traits of hers, and how she had kind of like pushed them away and made them seem like weaknesses, but how they were actually strengths. It was just, yeah, it was real. I wish that I could remember all of the details of it. I'll have to pull out that paper sometime. Yeah. But it's wild how movies like that can actually have so much symbolism. But
absolutely,
I like your outlook of it, of how those were actually all things that made her this magical thing.
And how cool is it that she had a cowardly lion when she was afraid?
Yeah.
How cool was it that she had the Tin Man that needed a heart when she needed a heart? And how cool was it that she had a scarecrow?
Yeah.
And life, the universe, whatever you want to call it, will send us mirrors for ourselves to and give us experiences and opportunities, because this massive, unlimited love loves us so much that it gives us every possible opportunity to experience these opportunities. And it'll show us, hey, here's a growth opportunity for you. And we're going to show it to you outside, because sometimes it's really hard to see looking inward. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is look at yourself.
So true.
So if I have things right at my periphery that I can see and go, man, this thing about this person's driving me nuts. I wonder if it's either there's something in me that's a mirror for me, or I wonder if the reaction I'm having is actually the mirror.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting too is it's like, I can't tell you how many times, well, a perfect example of this is I went on a girls trip to Disneyland. And there was one girl, and she and we've like tried to we've known each other for a really long time. And so there really wasn't, when you looked at it on the surface, any reason why we wouldn't get along and hang out more often than we did, especially the connection we had from the first time that we met. And on this trip, we realized like we were kind of clashing a little bit and had this hesitancy towards each other.
Yeah.
And so I just loved, one thing I really appreciate about this person is that she is not afraid to acknowledge the elephant in the room and talk directly to it. But she does it in the most mature, like loving way.
Amazing.
And so we were able to have this really cool conversation where as we're talking, we're both recognizing like, oh, I realize that the reason I feel like we rub against each other is we're both used to being the loud, goofy friend, and we were both shamed for being the loud, goofy friend. And so it was like the biggest mirror that I have ever most recently had of looking at somebody and being like, oh, the reason you kind of annoy me is because you were exactly like me and I was shamed for that. And so I can feel myself feeling judgment towards you for that. It was so wild. And it was really cool to have it in real time, like as we're talking and we're both trying to figure this out. And then both of us are like, oh my gosh, I think I know what it is. Oh, wow, that sounds so accurate. It was so wild.
Yeah. And I recently had one a couple weeks ago where I got into a conversation with a friend and we ended up triggering each other. And it was wild. And as a result of this, she made a comment to me. She's like, there are some men that you just trigger just by being you. And she was like, you might want to look at that if you want. And it gave me the opportunity to go back to my childhood because there was a time in my childhood where certain types of men were unsafe for me. And immediately it was just walls up.
Yeah.
And anytime I experienced somebody that reminded me of that type of man, it was just immediately walls up, and they felt it.
Ooh,
And
interesting.
so I ended up working with one of our transcendence practitioners a few weeks ago, and we cleared it. And ever since then, my relationships with guys has just transformed.
That's so cool. I love that. That's one thing that I really love and appreciate. I mean, the healing world in general, but especially I feel like with transcendence, it's given me just the most beautiful tool for my tool belt that I feel like I've gotten a lot of little tools, but I feel like that is like a jackhammer. And it just like powers through and can do so much in the most, it can be loving, it can be aggressive, it can be all of the things. And I think it is also pretty empowering because my husband and I did a lot with plant medicine, and I definitely think that is such a beautiful tool. But we've gotten to a point where it's like, okay, this is to help me exercise a muscle I'm not used to exercising and loosen those joints up. And so that I can have those conversations and approach those things without that.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's what transcendence has been.
Absolutely.
Is helped me to have those conversations and go through those hard things without the assistance of a substance.
Absolutely. And all tools are there to help us, whether it's transcendence or whether it's plant medicine or whether it's breath work.
Yeah.
We are the magic.
Yes.
And if we look at these as tools that serve us, then we're in power. As soon as I start being like, I have to go to breath work, or I have to check in with my human design, or I have to go do a transcendence process. And I love transcendence. Christy's one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
And I know the extreme. Some people, they wake up in the morning and they have to check their horoscope to figure out what they're doing during the day.
Tell me what my day is going to be.
Exactly. And it's a power leak because as soon as I give my choice over to something outside myself, I've now given my power away to that thing, because power and choice are the same thing.
Ooh.
As soon as I have awareness, I now have choice. And as soon as I have choice, I have the power to choose. One of my favorite authors, Viktor Frankl, said, and I'm going to paraphrase this because I'll butcher the exact quote. You can take everything away from me, but you can't take away my ability to choose my attitude. And this was somebody who survived the Holocaust.
I remember this. Wasn't he the one that he would imagine golfing every day, and he would try to perfect his swing so that when he was then released, he went golfing and he had the perfect swing.
Yes.
And it was all about his mindset.
Yes. And he's also one of the modern fathers of psychology.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. His book, Man's Search for Meaning, is fascinating.
I'll have to take what is it called?
Man's Search for Meaning.
Man's Search for Meaning by
Viktor Frankl.
Viktor Frankl. Okay. I'm going to have to look into that one because I remembered learning about him. I don't know, like as a kid, I think it came up sometime just about mindset and how if you set your mind to something, how powerful the mind really is.
Absolutely. And I've known people with just amazing, powerful minds. Like I was working with a guy yesterday, one of the smartest guys I've ever met, and he's just mega mind. And he's so dialed into his mind, and mind is just one part of it.
Right.
And if we're not using our heart, if we're not using our body, if we're not using our spirit, we could have the most genius mind, and we're only getting 25% of the message. I like to think about mind, body, spirit, and heart as like a 4-piece rock band.
Yeah.
So like each one is like an instrument. You might have the bass, you might have the guitar, you might have the drums, and you might have the lead singer. They're all playing a part, and each part sounds totally different. Each part has its own part, but they're all playing the same song.
Yeah. And when they come together, like drum solos are really great. But when you get the drums, the guitar, the bass, and the vocals together, it's like, oh, this is a jam.
Yeah. Drum solos are great. 45 minutes of a drum solo, not so great.
Right. That's a little intense.
The drummer's loving it.
Yeah.
Nobody else is.
Right. That's so true. And it's exhausting. The other band members are probably like, what are we here for?
Yeah. And people in the audience are like, check, please.
Yeah. I came here to see everybody. I love that analogy. Christy usually uses like a board meeting, or she talks about the car and the GPS, the driver, and I think the accelerator. And so I love that idea of a rock band. That's a really good illustration. For me, illustrations are how I kind of solidify things and understand things. And it's like, okay, if I can put it in an illustration, it'll stick with me forever.
And it's cool because everything in the universe is frequency, and music is frequency, sound is frequency.
Yeah.
And so when the rock band is in harmony with each other, when the different parts are not only playing their part, but they're in harmony with each other, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
When one part's slightly off, the whole thing's off.
Yeah. It throws the whole thing off.
And it's the same thing with us as we find the magic in ourselves. Finding the magic in ourselves is embracing all of the parts of ourselves. It's embracing our body. It's embracing our spirit. It's embracing our mind. It's embracing our heart. It's realizing that they all communicate in their own way, that they all have their own function. And together they create this genius, because the universe in itself is all frequency. And one of my mentors, David Gibson, he said, think about universe. Think about that word. Universe, one verse, one song.
Oh, yeah.
And so if the universe is playing one song and it's in coherence and it's in harmony, then if we want to be in harmony with what's going on, then finding the magic in ourselves is finding coherence and harmony in ourselves.
Ooh, I love that. And I love what you said about loving them and the genius. Those are two words that popped out to me. I think the general, what's the word? Attitude of the world is this expectation of my mind should function. Again, what we were saying, like this box that society puts us in of how we should fit in, of my mind should function this way. My body should look and function this way. I should be able, should, right? Those expectations. And so once we get to know those attributes and love them for exactly what they are, and understand that the way that they're functioning is genius and beautiful, then that's when they amplify even more and step it up. But when we're doing all of this should, it's like everything shrinks back because it doesn't know how to fit into this rigidness. It's like, that's not me. So how am I supposed to act if how I naturally am isn't acceptable?
Right. And expectations. I love that you brought that up. Expectations, I heard a friend say, are just prepaid suffering.
Yes.
And when I get into expectations, I start playing the what if game. And when I'm playing the what if game, I'm not present. And the difference between expectation and present, what if turns into what is.
Yep.
And when I'm present, I'm just aware of what is. I don't need to change anything. I can get really curious about what is going on. And when I'm looking at what is, it's just really easy to see. But when I start getting far out in the future, or I get far out in the past, that's when things start getting foggy and difficult and confusing. But when I'm in presence, and there's such a difference, you can feel a difference when somebody's fully engaged with you and present versus somebody who's sitting in the room on their phone and going, yeah, great,
So true. Well, and it makes me think of too, I heard this quote forever ago of, we tend to travel in the direction that we're looking. And in this quote, it was, we tend to travel in the direction we're looking. If we're always looking back, we'll never be able to move forward. But I think that's true also. I mean, when you think about when you're driving down the road, and if you look off to the side, pretty soon you start steering that way. And you don't, I've actually had this happen where all of a sudden I'm like, oh gosh, I'm not just steering off the road, but the car in front of me stopped and I have to suddenly slam on my brakes. And then that's a jerk emotion. And now I've got adrenaline pumping and now I have to recover from this. Whereas if I'm able to be present and I can acknowledge what's happening over here and I can look check my rearview mirror and my side mirror. It doesn't mean that I'm not aware of my surroundings, but I'm also fully present in what's going on now. There isn't that adrenaline rush. There isn't that jerk emotion. There isn't the recovery from those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's cool about being present is, yes, I believe in manifesting. I believe in designing my future. I don't have to live there all the time.
Right.
I can design it, and then I can trust that it's going to happen. And it was so cool. There was one time I did a session with Christy.
Yeah.
And I got into what my soul really wanted. And we were in this meditation in a transformation session. And I landed on this crystal platform. And I ended up having a conversation with Source or the Divine. And I got there and I was like, can you explain the difference between masculine and feminine to me? And what I asked, and the answer I got was, when you see the step, take it. That's the masculine.
Okay.
And until you see the step, be present, stay, play, savor, enjoy. That's the feminine. And it was like that blend of masculine and feminine. And it's like, you can have both. You don't have to rush to take a step just because you feel like you should be taking a step.
Yeah.
And you also don't have to just sit there and sit feeling like. I was actually working with somebody one time and they're like, I don't want to lose my drive. That would feel like I'm sitting on a boat with no motor, and that would feel lame. And it's like, you can have both.
Yeah.
And it's just being present. And as I'm present, I see the step, I take the step.
Yes.
And then as I'm waiting, because sometimes patience is what's required, be present, enjoy it, live your life.
Yes.
And have so much fun.
Yes. Well, and it's like that quote that says, life isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. And I feel like that's such a good, I heard that so long ago before I ever even knew about presence. And it's so wild how things like that, we hear them all the time.
Right.
And it makes me wonder how many people have heard that quote and thought, oh, this is telling me to be present.
Yeah. And for so many people, it's hard to be present because in society, we're trained that our worth comes from what we do. And it's hard to see, oh, I'm just worthy because I am me.
Right. It's not because you do or, it's just your existence.
I was having a conversation a few weeks ago with some friends, and I said, hey, if there was something there was only one of in the world, how valuable would that be? And they said, priceless. And I looked at them and I said, yes, you are.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Oh, that is so good.
And so if I'm priceless because there is nobody in the history of the world that's better at being me than me ever, then my worth is already established.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to chase worthiness, because I'm already worthy.
Yeah.
And now instead of doing to prove that I'm worthy, I'm doing because it's aligned with who I am.
And your authentic self. Oh my gosh. I love this so much because at that point it's like, I've already done everything is already done that I need to do. I'm already doing it without extra effort. And all of a sudden it becomes this ease. And I feel like it opens the door for that playfulness and the chance to, like, anything that you bring on top of that is just like a cherry on top.
Yeah. And I used to ask the question, what would love do, when I wasn't sure what to do in a situation? And then there was a couple of times where I was sitting there and I was like, actually doing nothing feels like the most loving thing to do. And I was like, wow, that's a paradox. And I was like, I need to change this. And so the question I ask myself now is, how can I show up in the highest form of love in this moment?
Ooh, I like that. I have one thing that I have been working on is, for a lot of my life, I've played a parental role, even with my own parents. I'm also the oldest sibling. And so I'm the planner and I'm, I'm the one who looks stuff up and, oh, you need something researched. Oh, you don't know the answer to that question. You don't know how long to boil an egg. Let me tell you how to do it. And so, and I feel like I took that, I was put in that role so often, and then it became part of my identity. And then it became this, it was this cyclical thing of I took it on. And so other people also put me in that. Trusted me in that position. And so then it's gotten to the point where and my husband's had to remind me of this sometimes, like when my dad was planning on coming to our wedding. And he was coming up with all of these different, he lives in Denver, so it's not like or Colorado Springs, it's not that much of a drive, but he was coming up with, well, then we'll rent an RV and then we'll just stay at and all this stuff. And I took it upon myself to research the best priced way for them to get here and where to stay. And I was about to message him all of this stuff. And I'm talking to my husband, Ben, about it. And he's like, your dad is an adult. Let him plan his own trip. And if it succeeds, cool. And if it doesn't, that's because of the way he planned it. And so for me, it's been this taking a step back of like, I don't need to plan everything for everybody, research everything for everybody, or do the adulting for everybody. And so just like allowing them to do that for themselves and allowing me to just trust them with that has been a really big exercise.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in planning everything for everybody, there's probably part of it that's saving them.
Yeah. It's this a way for me to feel like I'm protecting them and a way to control the outcome. If I can control the outcome, then everything is safe.
And Christy and others talk about the triangle of disempowerment and savior, bully, victim.
Yep.
And so if I need to save him and I need to plan it for him, I'm now putting him in the victim mode. I'm not letting him learn the lessons his soul's come here to learn.
Yes.
And how powerful that you were able to step in and go, you know what? I'm not going to play that game.
Yeah.
Because literally the only way to win in the triangle is don't play.
Yeah. And it was actually, in the beginning, it was super stressful to be like, but then how do I know it's going to work out? And I think that just shows like for a really long time, my hyper independence. I had to be hyper independent. There was really nobody else to count on. But now that I'm in a place where I don't have to play that role anymore. So at first it was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. But then once I took a step back and was like fully released that, it was like, oh man, this is a weight off my shoulders. I don't have to stress about this anymore. And I've been carrying that this whole time. Yeah.
And how much energy did you get back?
So much.
And knowing, hey, he's going to figure it out in a way that works for him. It might look different than the way I would do it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And then being okay with however it worked out.
Yeah. However it works out, it's perfect.
Yeah.
There's so many possibilities. I'm so curious.
Yes.
What that's going to look like for him.
Yeah. I love the idea of bringing curiosity into things. I just think that it's the answer or the solution to so many things of disagreements, hard times in your life, understanding yourself. Like if you can have curiosity about it, then that's when you can be in true love. Like we were talking about the highest form of love.
Absolutely. And with curiosity, like when I'm feeling super curious about something, and a lot of times when I go into it, like I can picture myself as like this little Indiana Jones boy, like 6 or 7 years old. He's got the whole outfit on, the hat,
the lasso.
And it's like, he's got the map and he's like, hey, we're going to go find this thing.
Yeah.
And like, he's so excited. Like when you're in that state, it's so hard to feel judgment or it's so hard to feel defensive because, hey, we're going to do this thing. Let's go do it.
Yeah. And also, the no judgment thing too. It's like it lets go of expectations again of how you're going to learn how to do this thing or how you're going to figure it out. You're just curious and excited about whatever could come around the corner.
Yeah. We're going to just go follow the map and follow the thread and see where it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, I love that.
And we were so good at that as kids. Like we made believe and we had no concept of where the day was going to go. We would just go outside and play.
Yeah. And then we had kind of mentioned it earlier, end before we started talking about this idea of belonging and fitting in. Do you mind you said that you were working with somebody or talking to somebody about it.
Yeah.
Do you mind just going into that a little bit?
Yeah. So I worked with a client last week, and they're working on community and tribe, and we started going into it, and there was this fear of rejection, and sat with it. And it was like, what if they reject me for who I am? And I remember, I'll share my own story. I remember when I first joined Christy's group, I got there, and the first day, like sitting down, I had just literally met everybody on a Zoom call 2 days earlier. 2 days later, I'm in Utah for a retreat with these people. And I was like, oh, these people seem cool. I want them to like me. So I don't want to be the overachiever. I don't want to be the me, pick me. I know all the answers, because nobody likes that guy. And at the same time, I don't want to just be the guy who's shriveled up in the corner, not contributing. I was like, okay, how do I show up so I can be acceptable? How do I fit in? And I'm sitting there trying to manage it. And about halfway through the first day, I'm like, oh no, these are energy people. This mask isn't fooling them at all. I just get to be myself. And it was the most liberating and terrifying thing at the same time.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you say that, because my first retreat, that was a huge thing for me. Not necessarily, I feel like I've exercised the muscle of, I think I've always been the goofy friend who isn't afraid to be goofy, isn't afraid to like start dancing in the grocery store or whatever. And I feel like even the goofy friend, even the friend who's out there and vocal and whatever, and has all the punchlines, still has a part of them. Every person has a part of them that they're afraid to show to people. And so that was a really big thing at my first retreat for transcendence, was if everybody knew every part of me, would they still love me? Could they accept all of this? And I had never really, as much as I felt like I had allowed people to see all of me, I hadn't really allowed anyone to see all parts of me, even my husband. And so that retreat, and even since then, it's been this exercise of allowing myself to truly be seen. And it doesn't have to be this articulate thing. That's been a big thing for me too, is that, okay, I'm not going to have this conversation until I can articulate it in my mind, put words to the emotions, and instead being like, okay, here's this blubbery mess that I don't even know if this really makes sense. And I'm just saying the words as I'm thinking of them, but here it all is. My, some friends and I, and my husband, we all set words for this year. And my word this year was vulnerability. And it was funny, Candace Elton, she and I are best friends. And so she and I were talking, it was, I think, January 2nd or something. Neither one of us had still come up with a word yet. And so we're like, okay. And I told her, I was like, I don't know why, but vulnerability keeps popping into my mind. And when I think of it, I just like, whoa, I don't want to do it. And she was like, that's so weird, because I've had the exact same word and I have the same reaction. She looked at me, she's like, I think that means we have to pick it. And I was like, but I don't want to. and which meant even more that we had to pick it. And so we ended up both picking vulnerability. And I was on the phone with her the other day and we're talking about it. And I was like, man, this vulnerability thing is really tough this year. And I was like, we're getting near the end of the year. And I almost feel like it needs to be my word for next year too. Because as much as I've reached this level, I feel like there's so much more to it that this muscle that I really need to lean into and get used to. But it's just been this wild ride this year of this. And this happens every time I pick a word where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pick a word and I have an idea of what I think it means. And then within that first month or two, the universe is like, let me show you the real definition of that word. You chose this word. Let me show you what it really means for you. And I feel like I just get this whole new viewpoint on it. It just like plunges me in.
And what I've experienced with vulnerability is the foundation that they're built on is safety and trust.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And safety is I'm creating the safety, or I'm finding the safety inside myself. And then trust means I trust myself. And as I trust myself and as I'm safe within myself, I can trust my intuition. I can trust my inner knowing to know where and when it is appropriate for me to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And instead of playing small to fit in, I can then be vulnerable and where I belong. And that creates intimacy, that creates belonging, that creates tribe, and it creates really powerful, deep connections.
Yes.
That are so rich in life.
That's so true. And I feel like it's also been with that trust and safety that you're creating in yourself. For me anyways, it's been recognizing the stories that I create around, if I say this, then they will look at me this way, or I will think this of myself, or I don't get to say this because blah, 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 blah. And I've said this before on my podcast where it's like, there's no rules. Nobody, we're just making stuff up. And so if we can make anything up, why not take everything away? And so especially with that trust and safety within yourself and the stories that I create around what's safe, I can take those away. And it's been really cool to acknowledge like recognize those stories and go back to like, where did that even come from? And who says that has to stay here?
Totally. I was sitting in the Gulf of Mexico in February of this year. I had just done a Joe Dispenza retreat and I had just done my final walking meditation on the beach at sunrise. And I decided to go jump in the water after that.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I have this realization, and it was like, this whole thing is a game and it's all rigged in your favor and it's designed for you to win. And it's not a question of whether you win. It's a question of how you're going to win. And at the time I was considering where I was going to live, and San Diego was an option and Sedona was an option. And I didn't wind up in either, but that's what I was excited about. And like, I felt the energy of Sedona come in, and Sedona has a really spiritual and intense energy to it. Like the vortexes are so powerful. And I felt it. And it was like, we're going to strap a rocket to your butt and you're going to just take off and you're going to propel and you're going to get to your destiny. And then I started feeling the energy of San Diego come in, very different energy. And San Diego came in kind of like Surfer Bro. And it was like,
that makes sense.
It was like, hey, you're going to go chill. You're going to have fun. You're going to relax. You're going to get there. It's going to be easy. It's going to be smooth. It might take a little longer than Sedona, but you're going to get there either way. And the question was, what do you want? You're going to win either way.
Ooh, I love that. I like that attitude too, because it's like, I don't know. I don't know a lot of video games because I don't play them, but like Super Mario Brothers, it's like, there's so many obstacles and so many ways that you could fail that it really is this, for me anyways, because I'm not good at video games. It's like this battle. I remember one time playing with one of my friends. We were so stoked that we found this old Nintendo set and we're like, oh yeah, let's play. And I'm like, yeah, I love this game. And I died 15 times in a row. And they finally took the paddle away from me and was like, I don't want to watch you die in the same place every time. Like, I would rather watch you play anyways. But so it's, instead of thinking of it as all these obstacles in my way that can I get over this? Instead of thinking like, I'm going to win either way. It makes me think of, do you remember those books where you like choose your own ending and it's like, turn to page 37 and either way you're going to get to the end of the book, but you can either like meet the genie and then go to some adventure land, or you can go to like a store and then, so it's like, no matter which way, you're still going to get there. I love that.
And that goes back to curiosity, because instead of it having to be hard and a struggle, like if you want to take that path, you can.
Yeah.
But Musashi Miyamoto says there's 1,000 ways to the top of the mountain. And if there's 1,000, I'll bet a couple of them are fun.
Yeah. And beautiful. Yeah.
And sure, if you want to climb up the craggy front and there's a dragon at the top, go for it. Yeah. I'm going to be on a different path.
Yeah.
Mine's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be playful.
There will be snacks.
Yep. I'm going to like the snacks.
I love that. Let's talk a little bit about, so you're helping people find their own magic.
Yes.
How do you do that?
Absolutely. So I'll sit down with somebody and we'll figure out where they are and where they want to be. And then we'll sit down And I use kind of a 3-part methodology.
Okay.
So transform is the first part. Once you have safety and you have awareness, and you've identified, hey, I've got this pattern running in my subconscious. 95% of what we experience in our life by the age of 35 is subconscious. And so I'm aware of this subconscious pattern. I want to shift it. Great. Let's shift it. Let's remove the old loop. Let's install a new way of being for you. Then once you do that, let's embody it.
Yes.
Because great, if I don't embody it, I remember this one cool time I had this one experience where I had this one awareness and I didn't do anything with it. And sometimes that even feels worse.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what I didn't know. And I was joyfully ignorant of what I didn't know.
Yep.
And now I know what I know. I can't unknow it. I can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah.
And I see what's possible. And that can feel worse.
To know that you're not following through on that.
Exactly. So creating consistent steps every single day that allow me to get from where I am to fully embodied. The longest distance sometimes is from I know it to I am it.
Oof. Yes.
And the embodiment is so powerful. And then the third part of it is creation.
Ooh, I love
And
that.
so many people get stuck just, I'm going to heal, I'm going to heal, I'm going to heal, I'm going to heal. And they get into healing fatigue because all they're doing is healing. And so what are you doing with that healing that you've embodied? All of a sudden, you've created new possibilities. There's now new paths for you to take on your adventure. You've added new pages to the book.
Yeah.
What page do you want to be on? How do you want to create the life of your dreams? And so I work with my clients on transforming the old, embodying the new so that you can create whatever you want.
Ooh, I love that. And I think it's, you can only dig so much into, okay, what do I need to fix? What do I need to fix? What do I need to fix? Before, like you said, it's that healing fatigue where you're just like, or what did somebody else call it? The, like a burnout basically.
Yeah.
Because you're focusing on what's wrong with me, what's wrong with me, what's wrong with me. Ben went on a retreat one time and he had been around the same group of people a lot. And every time it was like, what do I need to fix? What do I need to fix? What do I need to fix? And so finally he went to the guy that was leading the retreat. And he was like, I'm so tired of doing this and it doesn't feel like it's sticking. And I guess you could call him a mentor, told him, what if you came at it, like you said, from the creation perspective of like, you have all this knowledge. What can you create with the knowledge that you have? Not what are you going to fix, but what can you create? And he came home. It was so cool. He came home and he's, usually when he would come home from these retreats, he'd give me like one or two little tidbits, but I could tell he was really just like thinking about it a lot. This was probably one of the first times he came home and he was like, had his notebook and he had taken a ton of notes. He's like, here's some things I'm going to start doing. This is Ben 2.0.
Nice.
And so he listed off all the things. And it wasn't like, we're going to start eating this kind of diet and we're emptying the fridge and bringing in all new. And we're going to start, waking up at this time and going to bed at this time. And we're only watching it wasn't this huge overhaul. It was things like when I come home, the first thing I want to do is hug you. And then the next thing I want to do is play with the kids. And like, it was little things like that, simple things that that had a lot of volume to it.
Absolutely. And a lot of times when we're embodying, like we can see the big step or the big goal at the end.
Yeah.
But I like to ask my clients, what's something that you can commit to yourself that you're going to absolutely do today? Because committing to yourself and following through builds trust with yourself.
Yes.
And so saying, I'm going to hug you, like he can absolutely commit to doing that. Like if he said, I'm going to go reside the house. Like, maybe not doable today. Yeah. Maybe he wants to do it, but maybe not. Yeah. But I'm going to hug you and then I'm going to play with the kids. He does those. He starts building trust with himself. And then he does it every single day and he starts stacking trust. Like I remember one time, back to your story about looking for the one thing. I was in Michigan with some of our friends and it was a gorgeous Wednesday, like middle of the day. We're out in a boat. Like there's so many people at work and I'm out in a boat in the middle of the week.
Nice.
And I jump in the water and it feels great, except I'm tall and there's seaweed at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really wish this was deeper so I didn't have to touch the seaweed. And I get out and I'm like, seriously? You noticed the one thing that's wrong?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I do this to myself. It was like, I am always looking for the one thing that's wrong instead of noticing where I am. And I was like, I am such a good trauma hunter.
It's true. And I think that's a lot of people. Like sometimes I'll be having conversations with some friends or my mom and it's like, oh, this would be perfect if only this one thing. And it's like, well, can't it just be perfect?
Exactly.
Already?
And what I realized in that moment was you're going to find your process. You're going to find the thing. It's going to find you.
Yeah.
You don't have to go look for it. It's like, enjoy life.
And it finds you at the right time. There's so many conversations that I've had with people where I will in the moment be like, oh yeah, okay, blah, 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 and say my little contributing factor. And then months down the road, I'll be going through that thing and I'll think back to that conversation and I'm like, holy cow. And all of a sudden, everything that they were saying sinks in and I'm like, I wasn't ready to be having that conversation, but I needed them to say that then so that right now when I'm going through it, I have that point for reference.
Yeah, I had a friend a couple years ago and she gave me some feedback on my health. And she's a health and wellness provider.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't in a place to hear it. And then 6 months ago, I'm sitting with her at a retreat and I'm just telling her how frustrated I am about my own health. And she goes, hey, why don't you come in? Why don't you get some blood work done? And I did. And she's like, I'll bet you could get the support you need. And if it's nothing, it's nothing. But if there's something there, get the support.
Yeah.
And since then, turned out she was right. She didn't, I told you so because she's a great friend.
Yeah.
But she's like, I had this intuitive hit a couple years ago. And I was like, man, I wish I would have listened.
But you weren't ready to.
But the cool thing was I was ready. And over the last 6 months, I've had a total transformation. I've lost 55 pounds.
Yeah.
My health is rapidly improving.
Wow.
And just having the support and just having that seed planted a couple years ago paid off right now when I was ready.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting too is that even if you had taken it on, who knows if you would have stuck with it. And it would have been like, or even enjoyed it because it might have been this forced thing. And so even you probably had the support then too, but it wouldn't have felt like the support that you needed because you weren't as much of a willing participant.
Yeah. And back to our Wizard of Oz thing from earlier, like I needed to go on the journey and I needed to learn the lessons to be ready because I had tried over and over and over and I knew all the things to do. I am a personal trainer, a yoga coach, nutritionist. Like I've got all those certifications. Like I know the things to do and I wasn't ready because I didn't love myself at the time.
Yeah. And, I also feel like it wouldn't have been as enjoyable.
Right.
Yeah. It would have just been this forced thing.
Right. Yeah. It would have been like, it would have been like climbing the mountain to climb up and get the dragon.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than take the fun, easy path.
Right. I feel like that's been one thing for me lately is as far as just like physical health goes, it's the same thing of like, I know how to count my macros. I know what to eat and what not to eat and working out and blah, 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 blah. But I had this, and it's funny when we have the ahas, you're just like, this is so dumb. Like I already know all this. Like, why is this the aha? And yet this is the time that it sticks. But we were gone for the summer. We go to Wisconsin every summer to see family.
Yeah.
And so we were up there and I was just like, I am just so sick of not feeling good and and I just don't get it. And I realized like, well, yeah, it's because I'm not doing A, B, and C. And I'm choosing, going back to what we were saying, is I'm choosing not to do those things and taking ownership of that, of like, you know what? I have a trainer who also gives me a meal plan. I have the knowledge already. I have all of these resources. And so if I'm not doing something with that,
Mm-hmm.
it's my own choice. Clearly, nobody's going to be doing these things for me. So if I end up with high blood sugar and diabetic, and which are things that I was struggling with, and I'm upset about my skin, how it looks, or I'm upset about how my teeth look, or I'm upset about like any of these health and physical features, it's because I'm the one choosing not to do the things to take care of them. And so can I then choose to do those things to actually take care of myself?
And then instead of trying to play whack-a-mole with myself, can I get curious about where the resistance is? What's the underlying thing that's causing me to self-sabotage? And what does that need in order to become whole? Because if I can pave the road, it's a whole lot better. I was just in Tulum a couple weeks ago, and the last bit of our resort was off a paved road, and it had just rained. And so this was one of those bumpy, like third world type roads. And so like the drive-in was great. And then you get to this road and it's like, it didn't feel good. It was uncomfortable. Like everything's getting tossed around. And like sometimes when we have resistance, it's like trying to drive on that road. And it's like, what if I just pave the road first? And so if I can find where the resistance is, what that resistance needs in order to be okay, then it's such a smoother ride.
And becomes more enjoyable. Because for me, it was like I had in my mind that everything had to be extreme. If I wanted to accomplish the thing, then I had to go hard. And realizing, no, it doesn't have to be that. Like, okay, just as a small example, like I really love food. And I don't think that we're meant, my husband and I have different aspects. He views food as fuel. So for him, it's very functional. And for me, it's all about enjoyment. If I go on a vacation somewhere, the first thing I'm looking up is what's a local, small, owned food place that has just like the best food you've ever had. That's what my vacation is. And so for me to follow like this strict meal plan, I just couldn't. But I felt like, okay, if I want to accomplish these goals, I have to, this is what I need to do. So now finding the balance of where like I get to enjoy the food and still stick to my macros or my meal plan or whatever. Like it can be both. Makes it more sustainable. And so then finding like, okay, it doesn't have to be this extreme of how everybody else is doing it. It can be, what do I enjoy? How can I fix these things in a way that I enjoy so that this is a pleasurable ride?
And sometimes being so hyper vigilant about your diet can actually put your body in fight or flight. And then if you're in fight or flight, all of a sudden it doesn't matter what you do because your body's in fight or flight. And so it's triggering hormones to store fat because it thinks, oh God, there's a bear coming. I got to run. And what I've experienced for myself is like when I was on vacation a couple of weeks ago, the dessert came out. I'm going to have a bite of it because it's delicious, but I'm going to have a bite. I don't need the whole thing. I can still get the enjoyment out of it. And it's like, I can have it all.
I love that idea too of balance. I think that's where things sustainability comes in. So when it comes to making changes or that embodiment, like we were talking about, that it doesn't need to be this extreme thing, that it can be, embodying doesn't mean cutting off all of the things that you enjoy because you need to make this change. It means, how can you create things that you love so that this is who you are.
And we're here to have an amazing human experience. And why not live it full out? Why not live it in a way that feels balanced, that feels harmonious, that feels coherent, and feels sustainable? And we can absolutely have it all. And we can absolutely do that by being aware of our situation and then making choices that are aligned with us. And then whatever choice we've made, great. It's the choice we made because it's aligned with us. Like when I chose to have the dessert, I chose it and I'm proud of it. And it was so good.
I love that so much. I am curious too about, I love hearing how people came to this, because I don't think that there are very many people in our generation anyways, where we just like are raised in this enlightened space and awareness and emotional maturity. I do think that some of us come with emotional maturity and that's how we're able to seek these things out. But I am curious, like, how did you come to this space?
Yeah. So this is a fascinating story that goes all over the world. So I lived in Los Angeles several years ago, and I was a personal trainer, and I had this client, and I changed her life. At the time, I didn't love myself. So I became a personal trainer just as a side gig so that people could tell me that I was changing their lives, because I didn't believe it myself. And at the time, there was also a mental performance coach who came in and worked with us as trainers to help us dial in. And a few years later, I was in Aruba, and I had gone sand duning, and I had the most fun. And like my little 5-year-old self came out, and I'm just tearing around, the biggest smile on my face ever. And I text my friend from California. I was like, dude, I had this experience. And I was like, how do I maintain it? And he goes, remember that mental performance coach? Contact him. So I spent a year training with him. And then I started getting into the world of spirituality. I had already kind of been in it through reading books and Don Miguel Ruiz and all kinds of stuff. And as I'm coaching with him, I started noticing that friend that I had trained years ago was starting to post spirituality stuff. So I just messaged her on Instagram. I was like, hey, I love the stuff you're posting. We started chatting. And she's like, hey, my sister's doing this breathwork thing online, Wim Hof breathwork challenge. You want to do it with us? I'm like, yeah, let's go. And so we do this 21-day Wim Hof thing. And I had met her sister once in Los Angeles. And so afterwards, at the end of the 21 days, she goes, hey, I'm going to offer a transformation session if anybody wants one. And her sister lives in Hawaii at the time. I'm in Oregon.
Okay.
My friend's in California. We're all over.
Just like, yeah.
And so we do a session over Zoom, and we're in the session, and she goes, oh my gosh. She's like, your energy is really special. She goes, I have this friend. I'm in this program. Her name's Christy. I think you'd like it. Immediately, I was like, I need to contact Christy right now. So I literally got off the call with her. 20 minutes later, I was in the process of applying for Transcendence.
It was just like boom, boom, boom.
And I was in the second group that went through Transcendence.
Oh, wow.
My friend was in the first. And 2 weeks later, Christy held a Zoom call that I mentioned earlier where I met everybody. And then 2 days later, I'm in Utah diving in deep to Transcendence.
Yeah. Oh, I love that what's really cool about that is that you had that curiosity that you were talking about and the willingness to jump into, like you said, when the step comes, you take it, and that masculine side. That is really cool, because I think that, I don't know that it's me so much now, but I think in the beginning, if I had opportunities, I don't know, it just depended actually. But I could see a lot of people being like, oh, this is new. I don't know a lot about this, and a lot of hesitation where you were just like jumping in, what's next? What
Absolutely.
else can I do?
Mel Robbins in the 5-second rule says you have 5 seconds before your brain starts talking you out of it. And what I've experienced with myself is when I have that moment of a full decision where like my spirit knows, my body knows, my heart knows. Like I recently had one of those. I was sitting there, and a big decision in life came up, and I'm sitting there, and my intuition's just like, it's time. It's time to do it.
Yeah.
And I sat with it for a day, and then my intuition kept talking the next day. And then my body, I started feeling it in my body, and I started asking my body, I was like, what happens if I take this first path, or what happens if I take the second path? and contraction on the first path. Like my body started feeling physically sick as I felt it, and then felt inspired on the second path. And I was like, okay, I need to do this, and I need to do this right now. Made a big life change and stepped into coaching full time.
Wow.
And I was talking to one of my mentors, and he's a mental performance coach. And he goes, "How did you know?" And I love him. But he's all mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, my intuition told me. He goes, "How else?" and you tell that to a mental performance coach.
Yeah.
You're speaking a different language.
They're like, what do you mean?
I go, my intuition told me. He goes, "Are you sure there wasn't anything else?" And I know he's sitting there. He's waiting for me to go, all right, I sat down, I made the list, I weighed out the pros and cons. I talked to these 3 people. Here's my weighted score, and here's the spreadsheet that shows this the decision I should make. And I look at him and I go, yeah, my body agreed. And he goes, he goes, "I've never met anybody like you." And I go, "You're welcome."
Here I am. Well, and I think that just goes to show, I would like to say that I don't think there's a single person who doesn't understand what you're talking about and realizes, for me, it was when I realized what it felt like to listen to my intuition. And then you have that for reference of like, oh, wait a minute. I remember 5, 6, 4, 3, 2 years ago, all of these little pings. That's what that was. So I feel like if somebody is sitting down and thinking about it, of once you start trusting your intuition and what it feels like in your body, and you're able to put yourself in those situations like you did, where you're asking yourself, what would it feel like if I did this? What would it feel like if I did that? And allowing yourself to actually feel that in your body, and not just, like you said, logic it out with your mind. I'm sure there are so many people who are like, oh, if I actually think about it, I have been doing that. And again, that's like where that trust is created of like, oh, I've actually been doing this the whole time. I know how to do this. I don't need training wheels.
Right.
I already know how to ride the bike.
Right. And for me, what I've noticed when I do sit down with myself and I'm like, all right, I need to know an answer. What I'll feel typically when it's a yes for me is it feels expansive. It feels exciting. Like I'm feeling lit up. I'm feeling inspired by it. And if it feels like a no for me, it feels contracting. It feels shriveling. It feels like I'm having to fit myself into a box just to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's information for me. And if I can take that information from my body and then take how I'm feeling in my heart, and then take, hey, what do I believe about this? And then tune in for whatever spirit or my intuition wants to show me, and get all of the answers. Then I can come to a full decision. Yeah. And when I have a full decision, it's an easy step to take.
It's that rock band. Yeah. And I like that you said, what do I believe about this? Because that can play into the shoulds, right? The expectations of to fit in. Of, okay, well, everybody would be really proud of me if, and to everybody, this would make sense if I stuck with the career path that I'm on versus going off on this, what may to society seem like this unknown of taking on coaching. Cause I think for a lot of people, they're like, coaching, what even is, what do you do? But, and so for a lot of people that may feel really uncertain versus this thing that you can count on.
Totally.
And so if you're going through actually focusing on what I believe, not what everybody else believes, then you can really make the best decisions for yourself.
Absolutely. And I was in coaching for years. I was just doing coaching in addition to something else. And I just reached the point where it was like, I'm going all in. Doing
this. Yeah. Ben and I actually, when we had our son, so he was born in November and we had already known Ben he gave a 9-month notice to his employer because he was a director and he wanted to have time to train somebody and get everything in order. So he gave them a 9-month notice, and The week he gave the notice was the week that I found out I was pregnant.
Wow.
So we were like, okay, well, we're just going to have to figure this out, because he was the main source of income in our relationship. And at the time I was also working full time. So it was like, okay, it's fine. Like, I'll have insurance for the baby and me, and if we want to put you on the insurance through my corporate job. And then he was born the end of November, and I had maternity leave until the end of February. And as it got closer and closer to that ending, he was like, do you want to, at first it was like, do you want to go back to work? And I was like, well, at least part-time, because, you know, benefits, I have to keep my benefits. And then we calculated it out. It just didn't make sense. And it got closer and closer. It was about 3 weeks before I had to make a decision. And he's like, do you want to go back to work? And I was like, I don't want to go back to work. And so we started the year with he ended his corporate job in December, the end of December. And I left my corporate job the end of February. And it was just like, all right, here we go. We're all in with neither of us have a corporate job, and we're just going to figure this out. Like going into, for him, it was something that he was passionate about and had, like you were, like the two things at once. And he was just like, this is what I really want to do. And just taking that leap of faith. And it's really given us the freedom to have the life that we truly want.
Absolutely. And when we take that leap of faith and trust ourselves, it leads to magic. And every time, like, I look at the doors that have opened up since I took that, and the clients I'm serving now, like, I may not have had the bandwidth or the opportunity to do it had I have stayed 1 foot in. Yeah. And I may not have had the energy because I was at capacity.
Yep.
And so I needed to create capacity for what I wanted. And when I created capacity for what I wanted, all these inspiring, amazing opportunities have opened up.
Ah, I love that. This conversation is like one of my favorite conversations. It's so good.
I know, you're so fun to talk to.
Thank you. And we both knew this was going to be a good one. We could just feel it when we planned this. It's been so good. One question I like to ask everybody is, with everything that you've been through, everything that you've learned through all of these experiences, what's something you'd like to share with somebody who might be just starting out on their journey, or somebody who's going through similar experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say start where you are and find one thing that feels true to you. Find one person that you want to connect with. Find one thing you want to learn. Find one thing you want to figure out. Start with curiosity. Start with one thing. Like, somebody once said, hey, what's the best way to eat a mountain? And it's one bite at a time.
Yep.
And if we try to focus on the end and fixate on the end, it can sometimes feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so what's the one thing you can do today to commit to yourself that I can do this? Or maybe it's 3 things.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, start where you are. Get curious, enjoy it, make it fun, make it playful.
Yes.
Because life is a game. It's so fun.
Yes.
And we can live it full out, and we can love full out. Be yourself, be your authentic self, because when we're authentic selves, we call in people who are authentically like us. When we're trying to fit in, we end up getting what's close, but not quite, because we're close, but not quite.
Yep.
And we don't attract what we want. We attract what we are.
Yes.
And it's like a radio frequency. So like if I'm tuned in, and back in the day, before Spotify, there used to be radios, and you'd have to tune the dial.
And it wasn't the digital where you just click over. You had to get it just right.
And sometimes we're like that ourselves, where it's like, hey, I just need to turn the knob just a touch more. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Now the signal's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I love that illustration.
And when we do that, we're then manifesting what we are. And through electromagnetism, it just brings things that are like us and aligned with us to us. And then life gets easy. And it's like, oh, I'm already drawing everything through me, through science. And now I get to just focus on what I want.
Yes. Well, I think of it as, I think for a really long time, and I've talked to so many people who feel the same way, where it's like, I just want to find my tribe. I just want to find my people. And you can find people that you get along with, but you're not going to find the people that you can just fall into, you know, into this comfort until you are your true authentic self.
And what was fun is I mentioned I was in Mexico last week. I was there with a group of people, most of them I've known for about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And it's been so fun getting to know them over the last 6 months and just doing life together, traveling together. And because we're showing up big, because the group dynamic is win or win more, the group dynamic is we show up for each other. We've gone deep quickly.
Yes.
And we've built deep, meaningful, authentic friendships quickly.
Yeah.
And that's felt so rewarding and so powerful.
It is. I have friends that I've known for years and years and years and years since I was like 9 years old or even younger. And the friends that where we're, and it's not just one person being authentic. There's a way of connecting with people where one person is authentic, but when everybody can be their authentic selves and you all have that same, like, the bar has been set of what you're bringing to the table. It's, you can have a more connecting friendship in a shorter amount of time. You're just like cutting to the chase of here I am. There's no, hi, how are you? How's the weather? It's here's all of me.
And I think society has been so conditioned, and what we were talking about vulnerability earlier, if we don't get vulnerable. And so what we think is friendship is actually acquaintance. And friendship is showing up through our actions. And not just, hey, let's hang out and watch TV together. Let's watch sports together. Let's go golfing together. Friendship is, hey, how are you? And wanting the long version of that answer.
Yes. Yes. That's something that I feel like Ben and I have been going through the last couple years is realizing, oh, wait a minute, who are real friends? It's like there's levels to friendships and realizing. And for me, it's Ben used to tease me all the time of like, everybody was my friend. I mean, I could have a 10-minute conversation with somebody and they're my friend. Or we're just friends on Instagram and they're my friend.
Right. And
he started challenging me of, are they a friend or are they an acquaintance? I'm like, well, what's the difference? Everybody's my friend. But now realizing like, oh, wait a minute. Like these are the only people I actually, I don't need to be friends. I mean, friendly, but I like to call it my vault of who gets to see all versions of me is actually pretty small.
Yeah. Yeah. Who are the people that I can trust myself to be vulnerable with? Who are the people that I can open my heart to? Who are the people that if something came up and it was 11 at night, that I know would have my back? And who are the people, I used to ask the question, are we friends or are we friends of convenience? Because sometimes there's people who will show up when it works for them.
Yep.
And that's just where they are. It's no judgment.
Yeah.
That's just where they are is, hey, I'd love to hang out with you occasionally.
Yeah.
And great. If that's what everybody wants and everybody's on the same page, love it.
My grandma used to say, there are friends of the road and friends of the heart. And friends of the road will come and go, but friends of the heart are there forever.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Those are the ones that like are sunk in deep within, like you almost have the same DNA type of thing.
And with friends, it's like seasons. And friends of the road, let them come and go.
Yes.
If they want to, the way I look at friendships is it's like I have an open door. And if you want to come in, great. I have friends who are consistent friends. They're there all the time and I love them. And then I was just messaging another friend the other day. I was like, you're like a little fairy. And she totally is. I was like, you float into my life. You make it a bazillion times better. You show up in big love and then you're on your way. And like, we'll go months without talking to each other. And then back and reconnect and back out and off doing our own thing. And those are great too. And then have friends where it's like, hey, they showed up for me really big in a season of life with a version of me that was aligned. And now that friendship doesn't feel aligned anymore. And it was perfect for what it was.
Yes.
And as I allow the flow to happen rather than trying to grasp and hold on to.
And force it into or keep it what it's always been.
because that doesn't work for either person. And both people feel that, grasping that scarcity energy, and just allowing friendships and relationships to flow as they want to.
Yes. And I think the other part of it too is holding on to it to force it to be what it's always been, as well as acknowledging that just because it may start dissipating doesn't mean it's always going to be dissipated. Letting it come in and out. I think for a while I got stuck in, well, we haven't talked for 3 months. Does that mean we're not friends anymore?
Right.
Like, there doesn't have to be a definition to that.
And I think we put labels on things.
Oh, yeah.
And when we put a label on it, we've then assigned a meaning and assigned an expectation to it.
And a story. And yes.
And like, we think, oh, are we friends? Do I need to break up with them? Are we
Does it have to be this official thing? Yeah.
And do we need to have a cleansing ceremony?
Yeah. Do I need to cut a cord?
Do I need to consciously uncouple from this person?
Right.
And it's like, no, I can just be present with what is. And there's been times where it's like, hey, I love this person. And in this moment, it doesn't feel like we're friends. And if they want to come back, they would be welcome back. And the bar is also raised as to what it looks like to be my friend.
Yes. What's beautiful about all of that too is I just feel like all of this conversation, everything that we've talked about while we've bounced around from topic to topic, really ties into being your authentic self and the curiosity and allowing things to acknowledging what they are and having that love for what it is. No, not having the expectations. Yeah. And oh my gosh, I just love this so much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jeremy, for being on here. I would love to have you on again if you're up for it.
I would totally love that.
When you're in town again.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Amazing. That would be so fun.
Thank you so much for being on here. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. If you liked what you heard, please remember to subscribe and go leave a review on Apple Podcast. It helps me know what you want to hear and who I should have as a guest next. Thanks again, and until next time, keep living the life of a lotus.